Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tabor Talk. I'm your host, Michael Tabor. So, I believe this is my fourth video recording today, and I've been doing this for almost 2 months. I've had my channel for 2 months. Totally didn't know what I was doing, and I kind of had a tech guy, sorta, a little bit. Now I have an intro and outro. I'm using iMovie just a little bit, but really it's just me with zero budget. And I'm doing okay. Okay, so 58 subscribers, like total of 16,000 views in 2 months. Well, that's pretty good, but I feel like I like it. Like I've watched my three videos, and I'm in my maybe of course I'm biased, but I said this is the best thing on the freaking internet, the most interesting videos on the internet on YouTube. That's what I think. But of course, I guess everyone feels that way. I read a lot of books. I've read probably, realistically, I probably read about 8,000 books. Maybe not that much. I don't know. But a shit ton. When you really think about it, if you read, I read about a book, about 2 to 3 books a month, right? I'm not an especially fast reader. And I read like today, by the way, I got 2 books in the mail, and actually Madeline's pissed off. She goes, enough with the fucking books. Like, it would take me 3 lifetimes to read all the books in the library. There are tens of thousands downstairs. But today I got Kevin Kelly's book here. So understanding the 12 technological forces that will shape our future, Kevin Kelly. I heard him on the Tim Ferriss podcast. It was actually an older podcast, a 3-parter. And this is just amazing. So I got this today, and I also got Mark Cousins' big fat book, too, The Story of Film. I also have the DVD. So this happens every day. I get books every single day, almost every day. And I'm just like excited. Like I go, oh, like this is Christmas time. I was like, oh, and man, I'll just stop with the fucking books. Like, we're not made out of money. And I know. And I go, well, listen, don't you get more value out of this than, say, going out to dinner? If we went out to dinner, you'd spend, what, $50 for lunch? Let's say we went out to lunch, 40, 50, $60, and we don't drink, but, it's just, talk about pissing money away. You fill up the gas tank, it's $45. And like what? Because I went to the super, you know what I mean? So here, I got this on Amazon for $14, and I'll have this for the rest of my life. And it's here forever. Of course, if I get dementia, then I forget it. And I guess it is a waste. My father used to say, it was really funny, because I've been reading my whole life. Just read for hours and hours every day. 40 years now. That's why my podcasts are good. It's packed with fucking information. It's packed with books right here. But he'd say, Mike, you could never take that away from you. And I go, that's true, but if you get Alzheimer's, and it's like gone, your brain stops working. So anyway, I digress. Of course, I always digress here on Tabor Talk. But last night I was watching a thing that just came out on Netflix. You could stream on Bill Gates, right? I think it's called Being in Bill's Brain. I think that's the name of it. I've watched the first 3 episodes. They serialize everything. So is that the right word? Serialize? Yeah, they make series out of everything. You never watch the documentary. It's always all this part. And I love it. It's the best because you get so much more information. So I really wasn't going to talk about Bill. I was going to devote another video recording to Bill Gates, how wonderful a man he is. That is an incredible human being. You know what? I'm going to do another video recording on that series because this is special. I need to spend more time on the great Bill Gates. Now, why wouldn't it be wonderful if that man was president instead of this monster that we have? Bill Gates is a beautiful human being. Not perfect, but man, what this fucking man is doing. Starving. I'm looking at the comments on my screen here. I get texts all the time, all day. And starving children who are dying from fucking diarrhea. It's just horrible. Like the stuff in Niger, all right, I'll save that. But here's one thing about Bill Gates. Reader. People who work with him, read, and he's unlike me, he's a fast reader. He probably reads about 150 pages a day, and he absorbs everything. And then same with me. Like I can take in a lot and then synthesize it. Like 90% of what I read, I retain. I got a photographic memory, so but I read for a few hours a day, probably average about 40 pages a day. So, oh, by the way, Bill Gates, was reading the same books I was reading. Robert Sapolsky's Behave, and then Steven Pinker's Enlightenment Now. I have those two books Sapolsky's is right here, actually. Steven Pinker's book, Enlightenment Now, is downstairs. So we're kind of the same guy. I'll get into it a little bit later, except I'm not a billionaire. Bill's a billionaire, and I'm not. All right, I digress. So I really enjoyed the videos, doing the videos earlier, and I think it's really good. Again, I'm biased. And then I go on YouTube last night, and I see this young woman, probably in her 20s, attractive and all that, and there she is taping herself and talking about her boyfriends, and it's like, oh boy. And it's okay, sort of. It's kind of cute, but there's really nothing there. It's nothing like this. And you look, she has 227,000 subscribers, right? And like this one video, it's if it was my daughter, I'd say, oh, it's kind of cute. You're talking about your boyfriends and kind of meandering. It's hard to stay focused, but it's not. It's like 200. What the hell? Like, what the hell's wrong with our society? Like this. All right. And maybe I'm too old for this. Like, maybe it's a young person's game. I'm sure it is. Like, most people on the internet are Gen Z and millennials, maybe a little bit Gen X. And, they want to probably talk about dating. They don't want to be talking about Robert Sapolsky or Bill Gates or the world hunger or politics, really important issues that I discuss. I mean, that's certainly a possibility. And the other real, the reality is that everyone has as Joe Rogan says, everyone has an antenna with social media. YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and all that. Twitter, we're kind of like, we all want to say, we have a voice, and that's a good thing. We all have a voice, and we could talk and text and make videos and throw it up on social media. But the problem is there's 7 billion people on the planet, right? Obviously, not everyone has access to the internet, but let's say like a third of humanity is hooked up. And that's a lot of people. And like, I think the number, I posted this before, how many YouTube videos per minute are sent up, like 20,000 per minute, something crazy. And how many texts, like hundreds of millions of texts and tweets per day. And even if it's the best thing, let's just say this Tabor Talk is the best thing ever, the best thing since sliced bread, how about that? And it's the most compelling, most important YouTube channel in the world. Who's going to see it? How are you going to get it out there? How can you get your message across? Like, I think if you go to my wife's Facebook page, her stuff is better. She's more talented than I am. Like, her page is just incredible. She's a poet and an artist, and she's really classy. I could be in the gutter a little bit. Like I talk, I have a foul mouth, but can. But the thing is, it's a great page. It's so interesting, and I know I'm going to be biased when I say this, but it's the best Facebook page I've ever seen. It's like not even close. It's like, how does she not have like 100 million followers or something crazy like that? It's like the best, and she has like 32 friends or something. She just started. I think you give her a break, but you see how this works. So it's the game you need to play, and that's why I have this book. I digress. I'm all over the place, but. Social marketing, utilizing these social media sites, selling yourself. You got to somehow stand out. And then there's going to be a point where it's going to be impossible because there's just too much. Everyone has an antenna. Like, everyone. Why should you listen to this person? It's almost like, I like to use the baseball card analogy. When baseball cards got really big in the 80s and 90s with, it used to be only tops, and then they got other things, and then there was just a fucking glut, and then it killed it. Like, there's just too much. Social media, same sort of thing. There's just too much. How can you stand out? It's good and it's bad. The good news is everyone has a voice and can express themselves on social media. The bad news is everyone has a voice and can express themselves on social media, so it's hard to stand out. Okay, I'm over 10 minutes. Good friends, good books, and a sleepy conscience. Peace, love, and understanding here on Tabor Talk.